Alright, what's going on? So I've kind of cut it down to the wire again, trying to film this video in time to get it up. And honestly, as of right now, I don't know if it will go up on time, but I'm going to try. But my mom's in town right now, so I've just kind of been preoccupied with that. And currently, right now, you guys are in for a treat because I am sangria drunk. And I've never made a video on this channel while I was drunk. So we'll see how it goes. Honestly, I'm going to have to edit this like probably tomorrow night or something, so if it's absolutely horrible, I'm just gonna scrap it. So if you're seeing this right now, it's probably not gonna be too fucking bad, but we'll see. So what we're listening to in the background is something really fucking good. This is the self-titled Mutilation demo. Craig made this a while back, and I don't think I've ever played it in a video before, but it's really quite nice. This one is the one that has the Rite of Darkness on it, obviously the Bathory cover. And I've said it before, I actually prefer the Mutilation cover of the Rite of Darkness to the original Bathory version of the song. Is it heresy? Is it blasphemy? Is it sacrilegious? Maybe to some of you. Do I care? I don't have any 7-inches to show because you guys have seen every 7-inch in my collection at this point. But I do have 5 12-inch records, and I tried to make them good. This time we do have all black metal, barring I guess the last one, which some people might consider something other than just black metal, but we'll talk about it. And the first thing we'll talk about here is the one that I'm most excited to own. Probably not, I guess, technically the best thing we'll talk about today, but more than any of the other ones I'll show, I'm glad to own this one because this one is not easy to get your hands on. And that's this, Lust, Genesis of a Satanic Race. If you're not familiar with Lust, this is a Canadian-based, like, black metal band, but there's something about this that doesn't really fall quite into line with a lot of the other black metal bands that you guys have heard me talk about, or that I think really even exist. But this band's been around for a while. They formed in 1993. And from what I remember, this band kind of only did like EPs and splits and shit until 2003 when they had the first full-length album. And I think that first full-length album was called Annihilation Resurrection. I don't have it. It was never put on vinyl as far as I can tell. And it's not as good as this one anyway. I have heard it. And this was only a couple years after that debut album came out. I think this was 2005. And this is the final Lust album. To try and explain this, this is actually one of the earlier black metal releases that I ever heard. And at the time when I played it, I remember my friend Colin, the one who actually told me about this, he was kind of making fun of it because of the vocals. And I played it and I thought it was kind of funny. It kind of became a joke between us. And this was like probably 10 years ago. So, I don't know, it's just kind of funny to see it sort of circle around, and now, you know, I own this thing, and it's absolutely fucking awesome. And what's so cool about this record is, like, it's really technical, but it's not, like, wankery. It feels very methodical, and something about it is, it's really quite memorable. And the vocals on this thing, to be honest, are kind of funny. They're literally, like, it sounds like somebody's making, like, ghost noises, like, woo! So it's kind of like howling, but it doesn't have like any type of like atmospheric quality to it. So it's literally like if you can imagine really technical black metal and just like ghost noises over top of it. That's pretty much what this is. Now, that being said, when you really listen to this, there is melody here. But the fact that there are guitar solos all over this thing is kind of, I think that sort of trumps the melody. Because that's definitely what catches your attention, because black metal is not really a genre that uses a lot of guitar solos. But anyway, this is a one-man project, and this is limited to 500 copies. I actually got this from the same guy I got that Argo Slint record, Galloping Through the Battle Ruins, which I've talked about. He also sold me a couple other records, which I don't think I've mentioned yet. But there's the album cover right there. I like the sort of negative artwork. And you can kind of tell this is sort of like an NS record from the artwork. There's a back right there. It looks like kind of like horses, skeleton horses or something wearing gas masks. There's some cool song titles on this one. Storming Under Steel, which is a cool song title. Genocide Bitch, Spear of Destiny. Hymn to the Exiled, On Beyond Andromeda Part 2, and there's actually a bonus track on here. I don't know if it was on the CD or not, but it's a cover of Nazi Occult Metal by Spear of Longinus. So yeah, really cool. I think this was limited to 500 copies, and this thing is really fucking hard to get, man. It doesn't come up very often. It was only pressed once. It was only pressed on red vinyl. You can see the sort of like close-up of the artwork there, and there's side B. And this doesn't come with an insert or anything, so, you know, not much to really show. But if really technical black metal, lots of solos, really fucking interesting vocals, if that sounds like something that might interest you, then this is where you look, man. This shit is fucking awesome. So that's Lust with Genesis of a Satanic Race. Alright, moving on. This is a 2018 release, man, and this is one I've kind of been excited to talk about for a while. This is Immortal with Northern Chaos Gods. This is the 9th Immortal LP, and of course we all know this is the first Immortal LP without Abath. And honestly, man, this is the closest thing to a true return to form that Immortal will probably ever see. Not like Immortal ever really had too long of a time between full-length albums. It's not like they ever sort of made a comeback record or anything like that before this. And even this is only 9 years, which, you know, bands have gone a lot longer with less. But man, this is super fucking good. This is way better than I was expecting it to be. And I think this is way better than a lot of people were expecting it to be, man. Once Abath sort of announced his departure from the band, a lot of people worried about the future for Immortal. And I remember when Immortal sort of mentioned that there will be another record, almost everybody was skeptical. And I was among those people. I mean, you know, Abath has sort of always been the face of Immortal. He's always been the voice of Immortal, because Immortal, you know, you can listen to any Immortal record, and when you hear those vocals, you know that's Abath. And, you know, that was a worry, and not just for me, like I said, for pretty much everybody. I don't think anybody was like, yeah, this next Immortal album is going to be fucking awesome because there's no more Abath. But look at some of the shit that Abath has done on his own without the guys from Immortal. I mean, he did that I project, which is probably just one of the worst albums ever. That solo Abath album is just boring as hell. You'll never hear me talk about that. For me, it's hard to say that Abath was doing anything besides holding Immortal back, when the last few Immortal albums were weak in comparison to the first ones, and the stuff he was doing on the side is just nowhere near as good. But then Immortal came back with Demonaz and Horg, and man, this is so much better than probably the last 4 Immortal albums. Because I would say this could have come like right after Blizzard Beasts, or maybe like even right after Battles in the North. And I think that, you know, nobody would have batted an eye. Nobody would have been like, whoa, this is a massive change. And even the vocals, man, the vocals on this thing do not stand out as being weird for Immortal. It kind of sounds probably like what the next Immortal album would have sounded like anyways. But musically, man, these guys are back at it. This is fast and cold black metal. This really has a sound closer to Battles in the North and Pure Holocaust. Maybe not in terms of production, because it is a 2018 Nuclear Blast release, so it's going to be real clean. But fast and melodic. There's quite a few like acoustic passages on here which really break it up quite nicely. The vocals are awesome, like I said. I really don't have any complaints with this thing, man. This is so much better than I was expecting it to be. The one thing I will say against this is when they announced it and they had written all the song titles, half of the song titles I was like, haven't they had a song like titled that before? And no, but every Immortal song title is kind of the same. Like, if I told you there was an Immortal song before this album called Mighty Raven Dark, you probably would have believed it. Northern Chaos Gods, Gates to Blashirk, Into Battle Ride, Grim and Dark, Called to Ice, Where Mountains Rise, Blacker of Worlds. It's just very, very predictable for a band like Immortal. And I don't have a problem with that. You know, not every band needs to do something drastically different between releases, but this is great, man. So another one of the gripes is the album cover. I don't really like it. It kind of looks like the same guy who's on the cover of All Shall Fall from 2009. But yeah, there's the back right there. It's very simple. There's the gatefold. Really nothing of interest. It's just all the lyrics, which the lyrics are actually quite good. This comes with a pretty cool inner sleeve here. The picture of Demonaz, savior of Immortal, and Horg, of course. And there was, of course, being a Nuclear Blast release, there was a bunch of versions of this one. But I actually went to a record store to see if they had this, and they did. And I actually got one of the versions I was kind of hoping to get. And that's this, the sort of white with black splatter. Really nice, man. 500 copies. The one that I would have really liked to have got my hands on was like the clear with black splatter. That looks real nice, but this shit is great. So I think I've talked more than enough about this album. I think most of you guys have probably heard this album, but if you've kind of given up on Immortal after albums like Damned in Black and Sons of Northern Darkness and All Shall Fall, or even like At the Heart of Winter, which I think is where a lot of people fell off, this one right here, man, this will change your mind. Immortal is back, and I'm really, really excited to see whatever these guys do next. Honestly, I probably already know what it sounds like, but I love Immortal, and this is sort of a testament to why I love Immortal. So, really fucking good, man. That's Northern Chaos Gods. Man, I'm glad I've been talking about these records for quite a bit of time each, because this is another record that doesn't include anything, so I probably should have thought this out a bit better. Okay, so I was talking to the camera for a few minutes there without the camera actually recording me, so possibly this isn't a good idea, but whatever. Third record here is this one, and I've been wanting this for a long fucking time, man. This is the Impaled Nazarene split with Beherit called Day of Darkness Festival. So, in 1991, on August 23rd, both of these bands played a show in Finland, and this is a live bootleg split of that show. I'm not certain that it's the entire set from either band. I assume that it probably is. My puppy just ran in here, and I assume she's probably going to be... Do you want to take her? Stop it! I'm trying to do something. Okay, so puppy's in here. I kind of have to keep an eye on her because she does like to sort of chew things she shouldn't. And I have a lot of money in here worth of records and stuff. Say hi to everybody! This was originally put out in 1994, and like I said, it's always been a bootleg. But it was put out by some Colombian label. And this is a reissue from Land of the Rising Sun Records, which is supposed to be based out of Japan. But I think at this point everyone knows that Land of the Rising Sun Records is not a real label. This is the same label that put out the Morbid Mayhem split, which I have. So I think it's kind of infamous for being a fake label, essentially. But for being a bootleg live record, you might assume that the sound isn't that great, but honestly, this sounds really fucking good. I don't know that it's like a soundboard recording or anything like that, but it may as well be. You can definitely pick apart the songs if you know them. All the instruments, you can definitely pick them apart. It's great. So from what I understand, this has only been pressed a couple times ever. Once in 1994, and I think this might be the second time. And this started popping up everywhere. I got this from Hell's Headbangers, but I know it's also been on Nuclear War Now. Meaning it was probably also on Iron Bonehead or Merchant of Death at some point. But, yeah, this is great. Impaled Nazarene has a deicide cover, Crucifixation, and Beherit has a Sarcophago cover of Satanus. But there's not really much shit I can say about this, because it doesn't come with anything. You guys know what live records sound like, and you know both of these bands, surely. But this has got an absolutely fantastic fucking cover, man. There's the back cover right there with shots of the live show and all the track listing. The live date, and of course, like Land of the Rising Sun Records, which we've already talked about. This is just black vinyl. Both labels are just the band logos and their song titles. You can still get this probably relatively easily, and I would recommend you do if you want it, because like I said, the last time this was put out, I think was in 1994. So, yeah, quite a long stint there. So check this one out, man. This shit's absolutely great. That's Beherit split with Impaled Nazarene, Day of Darkness Festival. So here's a band that I've talked about a couple times on this channel before. This is Nordjevel with Hammer Profeti. So this is the debut full-length album from Nordjevel from 2008, following the one and only demo that this band ever did, that was put out in 2006. And I think that demo was called Northern Frontlines. And honestly, I'd like to see that get a vinyl press as well. I mean, they seem to be pretty consistent putting out Nordvrid stuff, so we'll see. From what I understand about this, one, it translates from Norwegian to Hammer Prophecy. But one of the other things I know is that this was recorded live. Not in like a live setting, but it was recorded in like a rehearsal space live. Kind of mentions that on the back. It says Hammer Prophecy was created live in a somber rehearsal bunker of Nordvrid during mid-May 2008. And you can definitely hear that, mostly in the drums. And I gotta say, man, the drum performance on this is probably the best thing about this. It's absolutely fantastic. And I've said before that I'm not really one to notice stuff like that, but the drum performance on here is really, really fucking good. And in general, this is sort of like mid-paced, fast black metal. There's lots of like trancey riffs in here, and I love shit like that. And of course, the vocals are kind of the same throughout all of Nordvrid's stuff, but this album just has a higher energy, I think, than albums like Confrontation or Legion Nordvrid. And still, I've been looking out in hopes that State of the Art and Monument Victoria gets a vinyl press as well, which they never have, so we'll see. Last time I talked about Legion Nordvrid, the album, it was that same day I saw that this had been pressed and was up for sale, so fingers crossed. But yeah, man, really fucking cool album cover. I'm not certain, but I guess that's probably the statue that's in Brazil. I don't remember what it's called, but it's in Rio, I think. There's the back cover right there, very simple, with the track listing and the Nordvrid logo in runes. Of course, put out through Merchant of Death and Darker Than Black. You have a lyric sheet here, but for some reason there's only the lyrics for the very first and last song on this thing. This is the first song right here, Sorg Og Aske. And the back, I'm not even gonna fucking try, but yeah, I'm not really sure why they did it that way. There's all the band members right there. And it's just black vinyl, but I like how the label has it to where when you put the record on the turntable, the spindle thing sort of goes through as like the nail through the hand. So, shit, man, calm down. I'm not really sure how you could like black metal and not like something like Nordvrid, because it sort of does encompass a lot of what we seem to like in black metal. I think Nordvrid's great. I think every one of you guys should be a big fan. Fantastic, dude. Fantastic shit. Fingers crossed for the other two. That's Hammer Prophecy. Alright, here's a really cool one right here that I haven't shown off that I've had for a while. This is Profanatica with The Enemy of Virtue. This came out last year, and as we know, we're already pretty much in fall now. I don't know when you guys are going to get this video, but yeah, so I've had this for quite a while, and I haven't shown it off. I'm not really sure why. Because, I mean, I guess maybe because I have shown this release off before. Because, of course, this is the 2006 compilation, The Enemy of Virtue, which basically just includes a lot of split and EP demo shit, stuff like that. And in fact, I think this pretty much included almost everything that Profanatica recorded up to this point. And from what I understand, this actually includes some like rehearsal stuff that was never previously heard, which is quite cool. But I didn't pull it out, but I guess I could show you what an earlier press of this looks like, because this hasn't been pressed since 2008. So here you go, this is the 2008 version of The Enemy of Virtue. I like the album cover for this one a bit better. The new one is more detailed and like gory, but I like simplicity. So it was quite a big change when they decided to put it on this big like hardcover book. And since I'm not gonna really talk about the record, because you guys all know what Profanatica sounds like, meaning you probably know what all of this shit sounds like, I'm just gonna show you the packaging, because it's really fucking nice, man. Let me get it to focus right there. So there's the album cover that they did for it. Really fucking cool, man. And you can see Jesus' big old dick. You can see it's got quite a thick spine, man. Really fucking nice. I always like records that do that. Of course, the back there with the dead lamb and all the song titles, man. This thing is really nice. I wish it weren't glossy, but I mean, whatever. The inside there, that's where the records themselves go, but I have them pulled out, of course. But I love this image right here. Really, really fucking cool. It kind of looks like that portrait of Hans Memling painting from Michael Hussar. I don't know that it is, but it's definitely very similar. I'll put up the picture of that right now. Cassette ended, we went through it twice. We're listening to the new Mayor now, if anybody wants to ask. But yeah, man, basically what this includes is, of course, all the information for the releases and stuff. But basically there's a lot of like interview shit in here. I like how this kind of looks like a book. But then you have like the covers for the releases that this shit was pulled from. Which is really cool, and quite a nice picture of the band. I don't know, it's really nice. It's a very nice layout. You guys get it. But the records themselves are quite cool. I think this was only pressed on one color vinyl. I'm not certain, this is just the color that I saw. But it's like gold with red splatter. Really fucking cool, man. Profanatica logo on that side. This is a double LP, of course. There's quite a bit of stuff on here. With the angel logo on one of the sides. Very nice. Yeah, man, I love Profanatica. I didn't really like their last album all that much, but they did just release a song for like a mini LP that's coming out, I think this year. And it sounds quite a bit better. So I know Gelso is not in the band anymore. That might be why. Profanatica is kind of just legendary status at this point, I think. So one of the best, man. I love this shit to death. That's Profanatica with The Enemy of Virtue. And that's it, guys. That's 5 more records down. I know I've talked for a long time in this one. This one's way longer than it needs to be. And I think it might have been because of all that rambling at the beginning, but it's done now. I'm going to have it edited. I'm going to try and get it up by Saturday. We'll see what happens. So if it is Saturday when I put this up, happy fall. I know most of you guys who are watching this from the Northern Hemisphere are all excited. And if you're not excited, I'd actually rather honestly prefer you to just unsubscribe. Fuck this wretched heat. I'm over it. I'm gonna put this shit up. I gotta go to bed. I have to be up at like 5 in the morning, so fuck this, fuck you. Whatever, man. We'll talk soon. Later. No escape from the fate destined to be mine.